Welcome to Health News and Views, a podcast dedicated to bringing some clarity to the health disparities in the Black and Brown communities. If you believe there's a connection between food, sickness, and health, then you're in the right place. Let's begin the process of unraveling the truth. And now your host, Lynn Pete.
Greetings and welcome back to another episode of Health News and Views, Food, the Final Frontier. I am your host, Lynn Pete, and thank you so much for stopping by. Do you hear that? That applause is for you. And if you're hearing this podcast, then congratulations, you have successfully crossed over into 2025. And now that you've transitioned, let's keep the momentum going. Now, are you someone who likes to make New Year's resolutions? Whether you do or you don't, it doesn't matter. The bigger question is, do you find, like most of us, that you fail to maintain that self-talk even till the end of January? Let's talk about how we can fix that. And maybe instead of resolutions, talk about some self-commitment. But before we do that, let's first give our disclaimer, which is the subject matter provided in this podcast and many of our published documents is for informational purposes only. Food, the Final Frontier, and our partner, healthnewsandviews.info. We do not attempt to treat, diagnose, or cure any disease or condition. Always check with your healthcare provider before making any lifestyle, dietary, or prescription drug changes. Just as a special note, here's a few funny resolutions I have heard recently, and one of them is, my New Year's resolution is to stop procrastinating, but I'm waiting for the right moment to start. Here's another. Well, this year my resolution is to be more decisive, or maybe that's be less indecisive. Oh, I'll just decide later. My personal resolution is to stop hanging out with people who ask me about my New Year's resolutions. Well, while I'm having a bit of fun with this, because I had to resolve to not make any resolutions this year, I was tired of not keeping any of them, and the self-hate was just too overwhelming and destructive, so I decided to do nothing. Well, we can't just do nothing. What exactly is a New Year's resolution anyway? Well, basically, it's a promise to yourself to improve yourself, to grow, to achieve something meaningful. But here's the kicker. Resolutions aren't just about setting goals. They're about commitment, and not just any commitment. It's a commitment to yourself. Think about that for a second. How do you prioritize everyone else, everything else, and putting their needs and other people's needs and demands above your own? Which one of us doesn't do that? New Year's resolutions are your chance to flip the script and say, guess what? I matter too. So, committing yourself to important resolutions or commitments. Committing yourself is important because the relationship you have with yourself sets the tone for every other relationship and opportunity in your life. How do you break that down? Well, self-commitment builds self-respect. And when you keep the promise you make to yourself, you're telling yourself that your word matters. You create this momentum, and that momentum can carry over into other areas of your life, and maybe even start with the resolution to wake up early, and suddenly you're more productive, less stressed, and finding new opportunities that you didn't see before. And with some instances, telling people no is okay if it does not fall in line with the self-commitment that you've already made for yourself. And guess what that'll do? It may even inspire others, because self-commitment can become contagious when people see that you're sticking to your goals and thriving, and they may be inspired to do the same, may have a ripple effect. Well, this foundation becomes the launch pad for you seizing bigger opportunities in the future. Well, think about it. If you can stay committed to drinking just 2 liters of water, for example, of a day, or maybe being more mindful in your selection of food that nourishes you, you're building the self-discipline and determination that you need to tackle the larger challenges. Maybe like starting a new career, building a business, or even pursuing a dream. And here's another truth bomb. There's no greater commitment than one that empowers you. Because when you're at your best, you're better equipped to help others. You heard that you can't pour from an empty cup, right? Well, by prioritizing your health and your happiness and your growth, you're not being selfish, you're being strategic. And you're making sure that you're ready and capable to take on life's adventures or challenges. So how do we start? Well, here are 3 quick tips. Start small. Don't overwhelm yourself, as I have done over the years. Don't overwhelm yourself with too many changes at once. Pick 1 or 2 and really matter to you and just focus on those. And track your progress. Celebrate your small wins. Progress is progress, no matter how big or how small. Like tracking your steps every day. Buy one of those tracker. It's a wristwatch that you can wear, or a tracker, so you can say, "I'm going to hit that goal of set 10,000 steps a day." I ain't gonna hit it every day, but at least you know as you're tracking it, you have something to build on. And be kind to yourself. Number 3. If you slip up, don't throw in the towel. Remind yourself why you got started in the first place and just get back on track. And as we wrap up today, I want to leave you with a thought that New Year's resolutions aren't just about changing your habits or achieving goals. They're about showing up for yourself and honoring the commitment to become the best version of you. Because when you invest in yourself, guess what? The returns are limitless. If I asked you who you love, to list all the people who you love, how long would it take you to include yourself to that list? This year's resolution for me, and I hope for you too, is going to be self-commitment. I'll share something with you that I heard from Steve Harvey, the actor, the comedian, the host of Family Feud, and he suggests that we start today to write down 300 things that we want from the universe during the remainder of this life. And he said by the time you get to 75 on your list, you may get stuck. But he says keep writing. He suggests that you be as specific as you possibly can. So in other words, don't say, I want a house. Where is the house? How is it designed? Where is it located? How much does it cost? And will you need a vacation home? What about cars? What kind of car do you want? What color is the car? What's the make and model of the car? You see, you got to get real specific. And how much money do you need? How much money do you want? Do you want to give money to family members in the form of a check? And then it didn't stop there, and I decided I would add to that list as well. So, what would you like to be, do, or have in this life? Is there a cause, a mission that you would like to support financially? How could extra funds help a family member, a church, or a community center? What's your ideal weight, clothing size, fashion design? Where do you want to travel? Is it a cruise, a trip to Africa, Europe, Asia? If it's something or someone, what do they look like? How tall or short are they? What part of the country will they come from? Are they in the military, law enforcement, lawyer, doctor, nurse, entrepreneur? The key is to come up with 300. And the key is also to look at the list daily. I would say try it. The suggestion is to just write down your desires. The Christian Bible speaks of in the New Testament, in the book of James, chapter 4, verses 2 and 3, that you have received not because you didn't ask for anything. In other words, I just paraphrase that. It says you received not because you asked not. And when you asked, you didn't receive. That's chapter 4, verse 3. When you asked, you did not receive because you asked with the wrong motives, that you may spend what you get on your own personal pleasures. Now, I am proof that making your desires known by writing them down works. I still have the request list that I created that included my husband, the house we live in, the deck that my neighbor said I didn't have, but I kept telling her, can you see my deck? But I have the pictures because I had taped the pictures of what the deck was going to look like inside the kitchen cabinet. So every time I opened up the cabinets, I saw pictures of things I wanted in this life. Well, at least for this house. For right now. I have a new list, of course. But the kitchen cabinets were replaced along with the kitchen. But the style of the cabinets were also taped inside the cabinet door when they came down. So, by the way, results come quicker if you write them down or you have visuals. What do you have to lose? I mean, some of the results may take longer. Like everything's not going to be right away. But I do believe that the universe is making sure that the right thing arrives at the right time. And just remember, delay is not denial. I was told the answers go like this: yes, no, and wait. Well, whatever the resolution is or the commitment you decide on, let's get one thing straight. Whatever you've asked of this life, so far, we've gotten it. Oh, you may not want it now, but you got what you asked for. And I'm grateful that some of the things I asked for now in retrospect, I'm glad I didn't get it. and maybe it should have gotten here, but never arrived. Boy, I may have been spared something. Oh, praise God. Anyway, I was spared some mercy here. Let me know how this works out for you. I mean, it really does work. I was told many years ago, track numbers don't lie. So let's start tracking it and just see. Test it. Test the universe and see if they're not exactly what they said. They have given us dominion over this kingdom. So when we ask for something, they're compelled to give us what we ask for. But if you don't ask for anything, you're not going to get anything. Until next time, keep striving, keep thriving, and most importantly, keep committing to yourself. Make it a powerful day, and Happy New Year.